that right out here west of us is the Sunset Midway Field and Belridge Field, which is a huge oil field. There's 33 billion barrels of oil that are under that ground, and 9 billion is accessible to us. A couple of years ago, we got 4,000 permits to drill oil to keep energy here for Californians by Californians, and we got 21 permits last year. The oil industry has been decimated by Governor Gavin Newsom. They are choosing to import oil from Iraq. I'm sure the $25 billion we sent to Iraq last year to purchase oil that we use every day, because Californians still use 1.8 million barrels of oil. And I'm sure, I'm being sarcastic, right? So if it gets transcribed in a writing, they use that to build parks, right? Give me a break. They're using that money that we send them. They bring it over here by ship. So carbon emissions, carbon intensive, they bring these big ships over there. They circle outside our ports, like down in Newport. They circle, Long Beach. They circle outside our ports. And as soon as they come into port, they burn clean fuel. CARB, California Air Resources Board, only counts the carbon emissions from that clean burning fuel, not point of origin to point of destination. So carbon emissions are way out the window that they don't even count. And they won't even let us drill for oil hill, put it in a pipeline, send it down to PBF, and produce gasoline that we use every day here. They have decimated the oil industry. They have made us rely on foreign countries. They were paying Russia just 4 years ago $7 billion.
For what?
Oil. We were buying Russia oil from Californians bought Russian oil just before they invaded Ukraine.
Yeah, but on the other hand, it's good. You use other countries' oil reserve. Once they got depleted, you're going to use your own.
Okay, but I think it creates a domestic security threat. Like, what if Russia says, or Iraq, or we get them from Ecuador, we get oil from Ecuador, Colombia, Guyana. They bulldoze down the rainforest, right? So it's the most natural sequestration site in the world. It's like considered the world's lung. We don't bulldoze down trees and, move indigenous Indians out of their homes. We don't do open air flaming like they do in Iraq. They're the highest open air flaming causes cancer. We stopped doing that back in the 50s.
Really?
Yeah, we stopped doing that back in the 50s. So we have the cleanest energy production in the entire world under the strictest regulatory requirements. And our governor chooses not to produce energy here to create jobs here and give domestic security here. He imports it from foreign countries that are number one. Iraq just allowed men to marry 9-year-olds. I met your 4-year-old son today. If you had a daughter, almost 6. Okay. So if you had a daughter that's 9, and you lived in Iraq and they were allowed to, it's absurd.
Mind-boggling.
Yeah, it's absurd. And to have that kind of policy is absurd. And it's not that and he's like, we're transitioning clean energy. We're not transitioning. We're just transitioning off of American oil to foreign oil, which is dirtier produced. They bulldoze down the rainforest. They have no oil spill control. They let it run into the rivers and the streams. It's almost damaged the national park that they have down there. I think it's Guyana who raked in, $5 billion. They're just excited that their country's booming for the oil revenues, and we're losing revenues. Like I said, and we have it right here in this district.
What happens to those countries like Russia or Iraq if you stop buying the oil? It's going to cut their budgets.
Oh, well, too bad.
Big time.
So what?
Yeah, but if they are our enemies, it's good for us.
Yes.
Not to spend billions of dollars
yes.
buying some products of theirs.
Well, last I checked, Russia wasn't really friendly with us. They invaded a sovereign country. Our policies that fund those things in California, like our policies in California that fund those things, we shouldn't take part in that. Like, Californians have better values in that. We shouldn't take part in funding a country that would invade another country. My oil producers never invaded another country. They've never hanged people on site because of their ideology. They've never allowed child bride marriage at 9 years old. They're just hard workers that want to produce oil and energy here for the people of the state of California that use it. And our oil production also, we provide it to Arizona and New Mexico and Arizona. So you have a negative impact on those states as well.